Good day. It's our pleasure on behalf of Stefano, Nativi, and myself, Ivan DeLoatch, where it's a pleasure to participate in this session, contributing to reproducible knowledge. Next slide. My name is Ivan DeLoatch, and I serve as the U.S. representative to, uh, to the GEOSS Infrastructure Development Task Team. And I will not read my entire bio, but I've been involved in GEO for a number of years since its inception, and I'm actively involved in the development of the GEOSS infrastructure.
Hello, I'm Stefano Nativi. I work for the European Commission Joint Research Center and the data lead scientist, and I am co-chairing with Ivan the GIDTT, and I've been also engaged for several years in GEO and GEOSS development.
This afternoon or today, we would like to share with you some of the work that we're doing with the GEOSS Infrastructure Development Team and how we're supporting reproducible knowledge. The GIDTT, as we refer to it as, leads the development and implementation of a number of the infrastructure elements part of GEOSS. It provides that infrastructure to facilitate the work of the flagship as well as a number of the initiatives and community activities. And it also addresses a number of the user needs and gaps in data and services. And more importantly, it really realizes the importance and the implementation of the GEOSS data sharing and data management principles. Of course, as part of our work, we are ensuring that the work that we're doing is aligned with the GEO strategic plan that was endorsed by GEO 5 years ago. And I will not read this vision statement, but as you can see, we are very much in favor and of supporting the fundamental components that are necessary to support not only reproducible knowledge, but also to address many of the societal challenges, and more importantly, to deliver critical information and data to inform decision making. Here's just a slide that sort of shows you how we're organized. There are 5 key components of the GIDTT, as outlined in the 2020-2022 work program. But the first team is the GEOSS Infrastructure Development Team, task team, which oversees the various activities and components within the foundational task and ensures connectivity and synergy. The second team is the GEOSS Platform Operations Team, and they have the responsibility for the data operations of the GEOSS platform, which includes the GEOSS portal, the GEOSS Data Access Broker, GEO, Access Broker, the status checker, and what we characterize as the GEO yellow pages, which essentially is a catalog of all available resources in GEOSS. The third team is the GEOSS Infrastructure Evolution Working Group, which is one of the critical working groups of GEO, which has the responsibility for understanding and identifying the evolution of the architecture for the various components. And this particular group includes a number of members from the formerly known as GEOSS Evolve Working Group. The fourth group that supports the activities of the GIDTT is the GeoNetcast Operations Team, which has been in place with GEO since its inception, and it has the responsibility for the daily operations and the further development of the GeoNetcast network. And then lastly, one of our newer components or teams is the GEO Secretariat and its members who are serving to develop the GEO Knowledge Hub as an open source capability, and has responsibility for development of the proof of concept for the Knowledge Hub. The GIDTT and the Knowledge Hub group have been working closely together. The Knowledge Hub linkage to the GEOSS platform is very important, and it's one of the newest components, and it was identified and previously established by the Expert Advisory Group a year ago that acknowledged the value, but also the importance of the Knowledge Hub as a complementary application to the GEOSS platform. The design of the GKH, as we call it, will be integrated with the GEO website as well as the platform, and we're currently looking at those architectural options in terms of how we want to do that. One of the key recommendations of EAG that was endorsed by the Executive Committee and by the GEO Plenary last November was to design the GKH as a new module of the GEOSS infrastructure. And we're very excited about that. And then lastly, the GEO Secretariat has been charged to develop the implementation plan in consultation with the GITI team. We've been doing it pretty earnestly over the past several months. And just recently, in fact, as of today, we presented that and had that conversation with the GEO program board with the expectation that those recommendations will be provided to the XHub. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Stefano to give you a more holistic and deeper dive into some of the key components of the architecture. Stefano?
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ivan. Yeah, indeed, as Ivan said, the definition of the conceptual architecture of GEOS for the next year, so how to advance GEO, is one of the most exciting and valuable outcome of this group. And here I'm showing you what is the standing working document. In this case, this is a schema, including, as you can see, 5 main elements. First of all, we move from just a GEOS as a platform to something which is called a real geo ecosystem. So I will cover this later, but this is just to tell you how it is getting, more complex, but also how we are trying to combine and include new components. And then, of course, there is the external landscape environment. In this case, here we are particularly interested in the new big platforms for data analytics and artificial intelligence, as well as the other global initiatives dealing with the same strategic sector of GEO. And finally, the knowledge, information, and data resources generated by the members, but also by also other parties, private and public parties at the different local, national, and regional level. So to go into this GEO ecosystem world here, we have recognized 3 main layers. The first layer from the top to the bottom here, it is composed of the GEO flagship and GEO initiatives, as well as the GEO community portal and other applications which are going to be based and are based on the GEOS. Then there is the GEOS platform. In this case, we are envisioning an advanced GEOS platform where also, the Knowledge Hub is going to be part, and as well as other components that will be discussed and recognized in the next activities. And then we have a set of regional GEO infrastructure. Those infrastructure developed by the regional GEO initiative, and these in particular are extremely useful in order to reach out to the resource bodies, and in this case we are talking about data, but also information and knowledge. And as far as these external parties, big data and analytics infrastructure are very well known and are introduced recently by the digital revolution of our society. In particular here, we are interested in connecting platforms such as the African Data Cube, Australian Data Cube, the Copernicus DIAS platform, the Google Earth Engine, the Amazon services, etc. While on the other side, as far as the other international and global federated systems, we are in contact and interested to connect with WMO, WIGOS, UNEP Live, UN GPTD, UNGGIM, CEOS, ESA, but also the other space agency platforms and networks such as the GPIF and so on. In this discussion, we are considering, of course, different models as well as different interoperability patterns. And here, just to give you a clue of what we are considering, there are two major models that have been drafted. One is called collaborative. That means to share the different resources, but with a pretty centralized control. The other one is known as a knowledge, that basically means to relax this centralized control and to implement something which is more federated or network or virtual network-based sharing. And as far as the software patterns, another interesting tension is between a tight style and a loose interoperability one. That basically means in a tight approach, each layer must communicate only with its neighbors, while if we relax this pattern, then we can also skip, layers, such as in the second case on your right. And this is exactly, where we are going. To consider something which is a collaborative approach, but where the central control is definitely, relaxed, going towards a more federated or a knowledge model. And in this development, of course, the GEO Knowledge Hub is going to be an important component to be, connected and included in this vision. And this will be done in a stepwise approach. This basically means to start recognizing further who are the stakeholders in terms of resource providers, but also users, and then, the user scenarios, the main user scenarios, and then the needs, the business needs, and so that we can come up with an effective, and efficient design for the next GEOSS architecture. And this is going to be done in the next year, and these include at least 3 main activities. The first one is to prototype and explore what a GEO Knowledge Hub means, also in particular in terms of digital libraries. The second activity is to engage further and more the GEO community, but also third parties, in order to understand who are the stakeholders and the main users of next GEOSS. And finally, of course, we will capture and describe all the findings, the lessons learned, and the proposed solutions for a good architecture in terms of scalability, flexibility, and moving from data to knowledge sharing. My last point is that in any case, of course, we will keep with the architectural principles of GEOSS, which are of particular importance, and in particular with the philosophy of a system of systems. And that's all. Thank you for your attention.